Right now, home prices expected to keep climbing this year, and according to Zillow, Hartford and its suburbs are now the hottest housing market in the entire country. Your reporter Sierra Jordan joins us now live in the studio with what this means if you've got plans to buy or sell. Hey, good morning, Sierra.
Good morning, Caitlin. If you are thinking about buying a home near Hartford, Zillow is warning folks to brace themselves for bidding wars and broken hearts. The problem? There's a severe housing shortage. Inventory is extremely low, and that's pushing prices even higher. Right now, inventory in Hartford and the surrounding towns is still 63% below pre-pandemic levels, the largest deficit among the 50 biggest metro areas in the country. More than 66% of homes sold above the asking price last year, and only about 6.5% of listings saw a price cut, one of the lowest rates nationwide. Home values in the capital city jumped nearly 5%, the fastest growth of any major city. Other Northeast cities, including Buffalo, Boston, and Philadelphia, also made Zillow's top 10 as inventory continues to fall below pre-pandemic levels. Out west, California cities like San Jose and Los Angeles remain some of the most expensive markets in the country. And last month, Realtor.com also named Hartford metro area the top housing market for 2026. And both Zillow and Realtor.com agree home prices are expected to keep rising through the rest of the year. Your reporter in studio, Sierra Jordan, Channel 3 Eyewitness News. Back to you, Caitlin.